what's up? Don't you want to play with Uncle Odd?
Weird. They won't fight.
Not as weird as all that.
Huh?
I smell a trap. Xana has divided the group so that we're more vulnerable.
Aelita and Ulrich, did you catch that?
Oh yes, it's time for Code Lyoko. Code Lyoko was a cartoon animated in France and distributed throughout the world. It catches a bit of crap sometimes, being so similar to The Matrix, occasionally including serious elements into its plotlines and using an anime art style, but an open mind may find the show to still be interesting. It features some decent characterization and ideas, despite being occasionally ridiculous. Alright, Code Lyoko Quest for Infinity on the Nintendo Wii doesn't really explain its premise, so I'm assuming that this installment is meant almost entirely for fans of the show. While I've seen a few earlier episodes, I was a bit lost until I read up about some things on the internet. The story goes like this. There's a group of school-age friends who found a way into the digital world. Within the digital world, there's an entity known as Xana bent on causing destruction in the real world, which it does through many creative means. The kids need to go into the digital world and basically cause hell while shutting down towers, which takes away from Xana's power. Quest for Infinity follows the 4th season of the show where they need to save their friend William, who has been trapped in the digital world and brainwashed into working for Xana. Yeah, something like that. If you're an avid follower of the show, you'd probably be able to explain it much better than I ever could. Quest for Infinity is a textbook platforming game that doesn't take too many chances. The main gameplay consists of your crew getting sent to various digital worlds and making your way through them. They're mostly linear and you'll consistently segue between fighting enemies and a lot of jumping. Except for when the story limits you to only having certain characters available, you'll usually be able to choose between 4 of them. One uses a sword, which is mostly useless, and the other 3 are projectile users. Of the other 3, most gamers will probably stick with Yumi, whose stronger projectile attack can lock onto enemies. Each character also has a few special abilities, which are mostly only used in context-sensitive areas. Code Lyoko makes good use of the motion sensing controls of the Wii Remote. This is a platforming game after all, so you'll be moving your character with the analog stick on the nunchuck, but as you'll usually stick with the projectile users, the aiming with the Wii Remote is a very welcome addition. You'll still have to use Wii Remote swiping to use Ulrich's sword attack, which is a bit of a pain as its responsiveness is sluggish, but you'll hardly ever have to use it.
Hey, heard the latest?
Yeah, I heard. Rose's rabbit Pipette relieved himself in the pot of spaghetti bolognese.
How did you know that?
Well, last week I noticed that the spaghetti bolognese tasted strange.
Quest for Infinity includes a few other styles of gameplay. Reminiscent of Star Fox, though much more simplistic, are the ship flying parts of Code Lyoko. Sometimes when traveling between worlds, you'll be forced to do battle in this alternative way. There's only a few styles of enemies, so it gets a bit repetitious towards the end of the game, but this also makes good use of the Wii Remote. It also makes for nice variety. Between gameplay segments, you'll get a chance to talk to characters from the show in front of the school in what feels like an extremely under-realized adventure portion. These characters almost never say anything relevant, so it's mainly just a treat for fans of the show. Just who exactly is the king of Disco Paco? I have no clue whatsoever, but then maybe you do. So how exactly is this video game? First off, despite its variety of artistic styles and good use of the Wii Remote, it still feels generic. The level designs contain absolutely nothing unique. The disappearing platforms, jumping, maneuvering, wall climbing, and so on all feel like they've been lifted directly from other games. The graphics are a bit disappointing as well. You can definitely tell this game was produced on a budget. While Code Lyoko may have the excuse of where it's supposed to look like a primitive digital world, the resolution still feels low and there is some room for improvement. Even the volcano world, which does look pretty cool at times, sadly runs at a low frame rate despite being rather simplistic considering the hardware. Quest for Infinity is so easy in the beginning that it feels like a 5-year-old's game, but it does pick up. The difficulty increases as some of the enemies start to actually fight back. It's still mostly a walk in the park for any seasoned gamer, but with stuff like the boss fights which do kick a bit of ass, Code Lyoko avoids being a bad game. It just doesn't take any risks, and there's not much that sets it apart from anything else. I can't really recommend Quest for Infinity to anyone who isn't a big fan of the television show. Hardly anything in this game is better than just average. With a subpar storyline presentation that won't even make sense to most people, sketchy production values, and run-of-the-mill gameplay, there isn't much incentive for most gamers to ever consider giving this game a try. Quest for Infinity will never be anyone's favorite game, but it does do a good job of letting fans of the show play out their favorite characters for about 8 hours max. Overall though, as I do appreciate the show a tiny bit, I did moderately enjoy it. I give Code Lyoko Quest for Infinity on the Nintendo Wii a 6 out of 10.